Let's be honest. We're trained from the age of 1 that your birthday is the single most important day of the year. It's the one day where the rules of normal society are suspended. You get the cake, you get the attention, and for 24 hours, you are the main character. But maybe you don't feel that way. Maybe when your birthday rolls around, you don't feel a surge of excitement. You feel nothing. Or worse, you feel a weird sense of dread. You treat it like a normal Tuesday. You go to work, you buy your own coffee, and you might even hide your birth date on Facebook so nobody writes on your wall. Now, society and your very concerned friends might tell you this is sad. They might say you're a Grinch or that you're repressing some deep inner child joy. But what if I told you that treating your birthday like a normal day isn't a malfunction? In fact, according to psychology, it might actually be a sign of high emotional intelligence, autonomy, and a completely different perception of time. You aren't broken, you're just operating on a different operating system. And in this video, we're going to break down the 4 psychological profiles of the birthday indifferent, and why being one of them might actually be your superpower. To understand why you treat your birthday like a normal day, we first have to talk about the birthday blues. Now, usually when people talk about this, they frame it as depression. But for most of you watching, it's not that you're sad, it's that you're a rationalist. There's a concept in psychology called the expectation-reality gap. Basically, human happiness is math. Happiness equals reality minus expectations. Most people, let's call them the birthday enthusiasts, inflate their expectations to massive levels on their birthday. They expect the perfect text from their crush, the perfect gift, the perfect party, when reality inevitably hits because, let's face it, it's just a Tuesday and people have jobs, their happiness score crashes. But you've subconsciously hacked this equation. By treating your birthday like a normal day, you are setting your expectations at 0. Therefore, any small good thing that happens, a free coffee, a nice text, is a net positive. I have a friend, let's call him Mark. Mark hasn't celebrated his birthday in a decade. He treats it like a normal workday. One year, his coworkers found out and tried to force a celebration. They bought balloons, they sang loudly in the break room, the whole 9 yards. Mark didn't look happy, he looked exhausted. Why? Because Mark isn't miserable, he's efficient. He realized that the emotional labor required to perform happiness for everyone else was higher than the actual joy he'd get from the cake. If this sounds like you likely score high in pragmatism. You view forced fun as an oxymoron. If something is truly fun, you shouldn't have to force it just because the calendar says so. You reject the performance of happiness in favor of actual contentment. You're not avoiding the party because you're sad, you're avoiding the performance because you're real. This brings us to the second psychological profile, the autonomy seeker. Psychological autonomy is the need to feel that your life is self-endorsed, that what you're doing is coming from you, not from external pressure. Birthdays, by definition, are a social ritual. They come with a script. You must smile when you open the socks, you must blow out the candles, you must reply to 100 HBD posts from people you haven't spoken to since high school. For people with high trait autonomy, this script feels like a cage. You value authenticity over ritual. Think about it like this. If I buy you a gift on a random Tuesday just because I saw it and thought of you, how does that feel? It feels amazing, right? It feels genuine. But if I buy you a gift on your birthday, did I do it because I love you or did I do it because I had to? For the autonomy seeker, that doubt ruins the experience. You treat your birthday like a normal day because you want your interactions to be real, not mandated. Research into social rituals shows that while rituals bind groups together, they often alienate individuals who prize independence. You might be the type of person who, if told to do the dishes, suddenly doesn't want to do them anymore. It's the same logic. So when you ignore your birthday, you're not being antisocial, you are reclaiming your time. You are saying, I will celebrate my life when I feel like it, not when the Gregorian calendar tells me to. That is a power move. Now, let's get a little deeper. Let's talk about how you perceive time. For many people, a birthday is a temporal landmark. It's a big flashing red sign that says, you are 1 year older. What have you achieved? This triggers what psychologists call mortality salience, basically a reminder that the clock is ticking. For the average person, they cope with this anxiety by partying. They drown out the ticking clock with loud music and confetti. But if you treat your birthday like a normal day, you are likely a time realist. You don't see life as a series of disconnected steps or milestones. You see it as a continuum. You understand that you didn't fundamentally change between 11:59 p.m. yesterday and 12 a.m. today. You are the same person. This is actually a very healthy Stoic perspective. Instead of having an existential crisis once a year, you are likely engaging in what's called continuous self-reflection. You don't need a birthday to take stock of your life because you're doing it all the time. There's a flip side to this, though. Sometimes people avoid birthdays because of achievement anxiety. If you feel like you haven't hit the milestones society expects, marriage, house, career, the birthday becomes a spotlight on what's missing. But here's the trick the time realists know. The milestone is arbitrary. If you treat the day as a normal day, you strip it of its power to judge you. You are choosing to measure your life by your own internal metrics, not the external yardstick of age. Finally, we have to talk about the introverts. But I want to be clear, introversion is not the same as being shy. Shyness is the fear of social judgment. Introversion is simply a different response to stimulation. A party is a high-stimulation event. You are the center of attention. All eyes are on you. For an introvert, this isn't fun, it's expensive. It costs you energy. If you treat your birthday like a normal day, it's often a self-preservation tactic. You know that if you open the door to a celebration, you are signing up for an energy drain. Psychologically, you might possess what is called low need for external validation. This is rare. Most people run on a fuel mix of 50% internal self-worth and 50% external praise. They need the birthday to refill their tank. If you can skip the birthday and still feel good about yourself, it means your tank is already full. You're emotionally self-sufficient. You don't need a chorus of people singing happy birthday to verify that you exist and that you matter. You already know. So let's recap. If you treat your birthday like a normal day, you aren't a Grinch and you aren't broken. You might be a rationalist who manages expectations to maximize happiness. You might be an autonomy seeker who values genuine connection over forced rituals. You might be a time realist who sees life as a journey, not a checklist. Or you might just be emotionally self-sufficient, creating your own validation without the confetti. The bottom line is this. The most powerful way to celebrate your life is to live it on your own terms. And if your terms involve treating your birthday like just another Tuesday so you can get some work done and go to bed early, then that is the best gift you can give yourself. But speaking of validation and needing other people's approval, there is another psychological trap that usually goes hand in hand with hating birthdays. It's the fear of being perceived, the spotlight effect. If you've ever felt like everyone is watching you and judging your every move, you need to watch this video next. It breaks down exactly how to turn off that fear and become completely invisible to the judgment of others. Click right here, and I'll see you over there.